CCP. CCP never changes. EA waged an economic war to gather developer slaves and wealth. Valve built an empire from its lust for the almighty dollar. In Bethesda, they shaped a battered company into an economic superpower. But CCP never changes. In the 21st century, CCP decided to diversify its portfolio with a new game. Only this time, the studio would try something different. Consoles and a shooter. They had watched Microsoft wring Halo dry, and Activision milk Call of Duty for all its value. And then EA split its Battlefield fan base between two games that cannibalized its own players' money, all bent on controlling the last remaining gamer dollars on Earth. In 2014, the storm hit again. In 2 brief days, most of the forums for Dust 514 were reduced to tears. And from the ashes of FanFest 2014, a new studio would struggle to arise from the scorched earth. A few iron-willed developers were able to survive the massacre at CCP Shanghai. Rattati was one of them. Imprisoned safely behind a large studio door under a mountain of smog and piles of poor Chinese noodles, a generation has lived without knowledge of the outside world, and he has waited for his time. Life in the studio is about to change. But CCP will never change. And welcome to Biomassed this week. We would like to thank the one and only Catmerk for that incredible reading that he offered us. And the prose there, we took a little bit of editing liberties to correct a couple typos in there. But again, for the weekly reading, Catmerk, thank you very much. And we're going to get you a bowl of milk out there for a weekly prize. All right, folks. So we're here for our normal sort of chewing the fat session here on the Biomassed podcast. And we're going to dive right in and hit some intros, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the agenda for the week. And we're going to get I used to be in the CPM update from Soraya Zell, and we'll see where the night takes us. So, all right, boys, let's go ahead and get some intros in there. Bait, you're up first.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Aiwha Bait. I am a member of the Incorruptibles Corporation and a writer for the Biomassed blog.
That's true. He is actually one of the 2 writers for the Biomassed blog because we have a lot of other people that actually send some stuff in and we post it on occasion. But in terms of actually writing stuff, Bait writes stuff and then Zell puts in podcast titles. So he's technically a writer. All right. Let's see. Who got up here next? Godin.
I think he's just listening.
That's perfect. Heracles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Heracles Porsche here. I'm a YouTuber, altaholic, and recovering cripple.
Outstanding. And Pokedraven.
I'm Pokedraven from OSG Planetary Operations, co-host here on the show, and I used to write for the blog, and will hopefully do so more in the future because Zell posting podcasts is actually more than I write, and that's just wrong.
It's all good. And the man of the hour, Soraya Zell.
I'm Soraya Zell, a former member of the CPM, a co-host here on the show, an editor on the blog, and a horrible, horrible troll.
This is true. You're not very good at trolling people, but you try really hard, so I have some respect for that.
Before anything else, I just want to say 10 out of 10 on that poem.
It wasn't a poem.
No,
it was a true story.
Yeah, that's dead serious. I don't know if you saw it or not. That Catmerk posted that
Fucking
up
in
the Skype earlier, and I was
you know what?
We're gonna roll with that.
Call it what you want. It was a poem to me.
It was a tale of epic struggle.
No, it wasn't too bad because I can't remember what the context was in the conversation, but he basically whipped that thing out in the middle of kind of a somewhat bitter discussion about gaming and development and stuff like that, and it was
really bitter. The bitters were going hard that day.
No, that was this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, tonight we kind of talked it over, and here's kind of the format of the show. We will get our I used to be in the CPM update from Soraya here shortly, which should be incredibly short but poignant as always. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a couple things in Dust. We have a new event that's coming up that we'll chat about, or at least mention what the awards are and what the parameters are, that kind of stuff like that. And then I think the only other real major thing that's going on out there is the hotfix crowdsourcing thread that Rattati posted, which is, as always, that's a interesting topic for discussion for a little bit. But one of the other things we're going to do tonight, once we get kind of past sort of that kind of stuff, we want to talk to you a little bit about some of the games that are coming out this season, this fall and winter season, that we are most looking forward to. So everybody here on the panel has got a couple 2-3 games that they really have their eye on, or some that have literally just came out in the last day or so that they had been waiting on. So we'll kind of preview that for folks. Just a few thoughts on some of the upcoming games out there that the community can dive into here and there. So without further ado, Soraya, any thoughts now that you're no longer a CPM?
Well, it's hard. I've left some messages on Cross's, Skype voicemail, so to speak, asking him questions that I shouldn't be asking. The biggest thing that I want to know this week is that we had a roadmap item for Warlords 1.3. It's still there, as far as I know. And with this hotfix question, this thread coming up, my question is, is 1.3 coming soon, and then we're preparing for the hotfix that comes after it, or is 1.3 delayed and we're doing a quick hotfix in the time between? I'm very curious how this orders out, and I don't know for once, and it hurts.
Welcome to the community, Sir Rizel. Thank you. You can take your bitter vet card at the door.
No, well, we were kind of kicking this idea around too, and sort of it's a couple different theories on are you asking to do the hotfix to basically as a crowd control move while you're waiting on 1.3, because generally the hotfix stuff doesn't go into the patch, or are you asking for that material so you can start sorting and working on it and immediately deliver it after the patch? I think the problem with delivering it after the patch is usually the first thing they do after a patch is fix the patch, and then they start working on subsequent activity. So if I were to guess, I would say we're going to get probably the hot fix first, because 1.3 is deeper in the queue than when Rattati probably originally would have wanted it.
But I mean, I know that there is a decent period of time, like when a patch is finished, it's done, but it's got to go through all the Sony QA and everything like that, and get to deployment. And so, it could be that they're trying to fill that time by starting to work on the next hotfix stuff. I don't know.
No, that's
It could go either way.
A fair point. That really is, and I think a lot of it depends on, like most things, I think when you're down to what he can do in the hotfix, server side type stuff, it's really tweaking some numbers and some minor things on the margins, which I mean in game could have big effects, but it's really pretty minor.
Can I just say
it just requires other QA pieces. Go ahead.
Can I just say about that thread that Rattati started? First of all, bravo for him for opening himself up to the public like that, but it was really abundantly clear reading some of the posts in there that a lot of people who are posting what they want in the hotfix clearly have no idea what can and can't be done in hotfix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a number change. That's what he can do basically, is change the numbers in the game. People were, expecting, well, maybe not expecting, but they were asking for the sun and the moon in a hotfix, and you gotta.
They can create new items as long as it's within the extent of the stats that are available. So, like, they could fill out, more stuff in the LP store, stuff like that. That's stuff that can be done by how
That would be nice.
Sure, and a lot of people asking for reasonable stuff like rifle balancing and stuff, but I don't know. I think Rattati can maybe save himself a few headaches next time if he kind of explains what can and can't be done in a hotfix.
Yeah, I was seeing people saying, fix the damn frame rates. You can't fix that bullshit in a hotfix, guys. It can't be done. Yeah, no.
Well, I think, when I read through them this afternoon, I took and I think it's up to like 17 pages or something like that. So there's a lot of people putting feedback in, but
20.
What I noticed was very much what Heracles brought up is there are a lot of people that are, this is probably indicative of the amount of turnover we have in the game. There are a ton of people in there that have no idea what they're asking for. It's not evil. I mean, and I'm not poking at them at all. I'm just giving you heads up.
I am.
Well, they don't know. I mean, nobody's explained to them, and nor do I think it's, I mean, it's easy for me to say because I've been here like damn near since day one, but I don't know that if you jump into a free-to-play game on the PS3 right now, even if you found the forums for the game, I don't know that it's an expected measure that you've delved through three almost 4 years of forum activity to figure out what the fuck a hotfix even is.
You're always so generous and gentle with people's lack of knowledge.
Well, the ignorance is okay as long as you're willing to learn. But now, what I would recommend though is, and it's also been a while since we've had a hotfix. It probably doesn't take more than like a very short paragraph when Rattati opens it, because he's really, when he's talking, we intrinsically understand kind of what he's getting at. But it would take a very short, almost cut and paste paragraph of, again, here are the limitations, the left and right limits of what you can ask for broadly. And that would help narrow things down. And then you can very quickly figure out who's trolling and who really doesn't know, like who has no idea what the hell a hotfix really is.
Well, that's kind of an issue you see in a lot of these feedback, is that it's a little too broad, I think, in terms of, hey, I'm looking at doing this, and it doesn't really give people direction. And then if you don't, define parameters of what you're actually looking for, you kind of end up with this crapshoot of random things, and they may be important, but I think in general you need to have at least some general idea of the direction you want to go with something like this, so people can give more focused feedback. Otherwise, it's too difficult to really gather a bunch of examples of a particular concept, because everyone's all over the place. But if you narrow it down to 5 or 6, people can actually give you more focused information about what they want rather than just be all over the place.
That's fair. Well, I did have a general question for the group. If you have looked through the thread, did anybody see anything they thought was actually worthwhile to kind of mark down as we really should probably do this if they've got a minute to get it hooked up?
Everybody's got a boner for rifle balancing. I think
that makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Oh my god! It was the next forum post I see about rifle balancing, I'm gonna kill myself.
Don't
it's
kill
the
yourself.
Same thing
kill a cat,
over.
Mark. Kill a cat, Mark. Don't kill yourself.
That's a good idea. But it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same list of weapons. Everybody's bitching about the scrambler rifle and how it needs to have 10% knocked off the current damage is what the community is feeling. Fix the assault rifle, fix the kick on whatever fucking sidearm. It's just the same thing over and over. And as a player to the community and somebody who reads the forums, I'm saying this to the community: stop saying rifle balance. Everybody knows we want it, and maybe it'll get done. Buy more Orm and it will get done. I guarantee that.
Jesus Christ! They'll never say that again.
I also am seeing scans, active scans. I think there that people are complaining about that need some kind of fix. That's all that sticks out. Oh, and shields. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk about shields. I don't want to talk about shields. Nobody wants to talk about shields.
I think some people want to talk about shields because
I know 2 CPM it is a problem. Yeah, this is true, but not tonight. My head hurts.
Well, I would say, what you highlighted there, bait aside, is, and I was sort of only half joking about the whole makes me want to throw up in my mouth thing. But in terms of the hotfix stuff, I mean, the reality is that we've gone through, I think, a handful of hotfixes. I don't know what we're up to now, like 5 or 6. And I think numbers and spreadsheets are tweaked as good as they're willing to tweak them. And all we're really doing is rearranging Legos right now. That's my opinion. That being said, I haven't my depth of recent knowledge in Dust is probably not nearly as deep as most of you guys. But I can tell you that the only thing that's going to create significant change now in the game is literally significant change in terms of it's not about balancing. Balancing implies that you have a rubric and a function, a mechanic, a construct, or whatever that overlays a consistent theme of design when you're developing a game. And then you balance that to achieve a very specific measurable set of equilibrium that you've already predefined. That is certainly not what they've done in this game. Now, I don't blame Rattati for that at all, by the way. I think he's done quite a bit to try to help out, but I think there's some things they can do, like quality of life stuff that they can do in hotfixes, but they really are almost at the point where they really have to like break the engine down, or tear things down to the bolts and then build it back up to really affect change.
That was probably what they were trying to do when they proposed a whole new FPS instead of, and accidentally triggered the Rouge wedding.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that a bit.
Well, let's be clear here that they did state that Legion is using the same Unreal 3.5 monstrosity.
Oh, did they really?
Yes, it's the same. Yeah, the same engine.
Is that engine bad, or did we just build badly on it?
It's Frankenstein.
Well, it's
Okay.
not like Unreal 3 is a fine engine. Unreal 4 is a fine engine. What Dust is built on is Unreal 3 with a bunch of features that aren't found in Unreal 3, like Unreal 4 type features, just like hack and slashed onto Dust. And there's a whole ton of like the whole socket system and the giant maps and everything was all it's a very Frankenstein system.
Right.
It's not.
Okay.
It's doing things with Unreal 3 that Unreal 3 was never meant to be doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, there's a fair amount of stuff. I think over the 20 pages or whatever in that hotfix thread, there's going to be a few small items, quality of life things that they legitimately can do, and I'm all for them doing that. But I'm pretty much at the point where I'm going to have to see something fairly significant before I like really start paying attention to what they're actually trying to do for the game itself.
Here's my one mini idea that I'm going to start pushing to change Dust. Get rid of MCC missile damage. Crickets. No, you guys are probably wondering why the hell would I care about that? It's really simple. It's just it's a mechanic that prevents comebacks, and I think that's lame.
It's the mechanic that prevents a game going 30 minutes.
Stagnation.
I shouldn't have to tell you. They've got to have some better mechanic for that. We already know they can put timers on these games. They showed they could do it with ambush. I'm sure they could have. I know I'm asking for a lot here, but I think any mechanic.
I absolutely think that MCCs should erode each other over time. And yes, you can still make comebacks, but you better be able to make your comeback before the last 5 seconds of the game.
I think it's lame. I think if you hack that panel with like half a tick to go and you can win that way, that would make for much more exciting games than games that just auto end.
What you're really asking for is you need an elegant mechanic so that when the game calculates that let's say 5 points are owned by team number 1. As soon as the game can reasonably calculate that team number 2 under no circumstance can win, how do you win the game right there instead of playing for another 5 to 7 to 10 minutes?
Oh yeah, I'm all for that. And I mean, this game needs all kinds of help with, making games more balanced and making comebacks actually a possibility. But
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but my understanding is this game still needs to have matches that you can get into and play and then get out of.
When was the last time anyone here got in an acquisition match?
Yesterday. I got into 6.
You got into 6? You got into 6 yesterday?
I have stopped queuing ambush and domination, fuck domination, and I queue exclusively skirm and acquisition. I consistently get skirm and acquisition. Maybe, sometimes I'll get 3 skirms in a row and then I'll get an acquisition, or I'll get 2 acquisition and then skirm, or whatever. But I do consistently get into acquisition.
That's good.
How long are you sitting in there waiting?
Minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Damn, dude, I was in there today and I waited 10 minutes. I queued only for AC and I waited 10 minutes.
Oh,
it was actually really funny.
There's your problem. Don't just queue for exclusive acquisition, because you will find yourself waiting for something.
I did the back and forth of what you did. I had one where I queued exclusively skirm, another
exclusively skirm and ac.
Yeah, I did one exclusive skirm and one exclusive ac, and I gave up on both of them after 10 minutes.
Nope, doing both at the same time.
All right.
So,
and if you don't get a battle, then
One of
I
those
feel
things I
very
saw in
sorry
the
for you.
feedback that was really funny. It's like a council chamber post. Someone was complaining. You could tell they were new to the game, very new. And they made this post, and it was about how ticked they were that the red line started moving, and I'm like, and they explained that this is on the train depot map, and I'm like, hey, congratulations, you found yourself in an acquisition match. And no, they can't hide in the red line because that's the same red line for both teams. But it was really funny because you could tell they didn't even have a clue how acquisition worked because they had seen it so rarely.
I feel so sorry for that poor guy. I should send that guy some money. Do you know that guy's name? I feel bad for him.
No, it's a council chamber post though, so you can find it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I'm still responding to council chamber posts, but I do sometimes.
Poor guy.
I think what Jay is getting at, though, is that we've kind of reached a point where iterative changes are not really quite cutting it, and sometimes you kind of have to go in and dismantle a system, at least partially, on a fundamental scale, and rework it. I mean, there's obviously a lot of issues with drop suit bonuses and how they affect weapons and whatnot, and I feel that Rattati is almost a little afraid to touch a big project like that because he doesn't want to break things, but at this point, things are broken and you kind of have to take that risk to make it happen. And I feel there's a lot of reluctance on the part of the developers to actually make that happen despite it being necessary at this point.
If Dust went down for, a day or something to rework or even longer, just to fix the existing stuff in the game that's broken, and they just took like a whole day or a whole 3 days or whatever, that'd be totally fine by me. If it fixes the game, dude, fucking do it, man. Port it if you have to.
I just sort of took it that you have to accept certain amount of flaws with this game, but what I'm actually more upset about is when they introduce new features and new stuff work. And there's something broken about them, like skins, or they give us an entirely new level in the warbarge and don't give us a new module. That kind of stuff is what annoys me.
Wait, what? What is this? What's this new level?
You can level your warbarge. You know how you can when you start leveling your warbarge, you get a new module each level.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they added a new like level after the 5th module, but you don't get a module. You can,
Oh yeah.
So I
did know about that because it doesn't increase your you don't get any bonuses for increasing just your base warbarge level, other than you get a new module. Past
the one that gets you the lab.
Okay. I see. Okay.
So you can sink 10 grand into your warbarge that does nothing.
That. Yeah. Okay.
We have a new drop suit command 5, everyone.
Huh? Something new in Dust?
No, I mean like the extra warbarge level that does nothing is like having drop suit command 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sheesh, you guys are slow.
I thought they added something. I got all excited, and then I realized
I did too. And then Zell, you were right. You are bad at trolling.
You guys
I know
are
what you're
just
talking
slow,
about.
man.
No, I know what you're talking about. I just didn't say anything.
Of course you did.
Okay. All right. So moving on from a pretty milquetoast attempted at trolling from Soraya Zell, which we come to expect and certainly cheer for when he tries. There is an event here coming up here pretty soon. I think it runs from the 15th of September to the 25th of September. And it's basically a skin-centric event. Basically, it looks like let's see, the Amarr Empire has issued global missions to commemorate recent events in New Eden, which is actually kind of cool. They're sort of tying some things back to Eve. And they're gearing people up on the ground with ISK arm and special issue skin modules. So what it basically means is that you got to earn a certain amount of war points kind of per day and achieve a certain amount of kicks for kills and battles. And it looks like win 30 battles over the 10-day period, and you receive a unique Death Shroud Amarr medium skin module. And the picture of it actually looks pretty slick. So it's an event. Doesn't look like there's a lot of like massive crazy SP like they've had in previous events. There's a skin which is kind of cool. It's like really the only vanity item that they offer in Dust. My beef with anything skin related is that only about 50% of the time in the warbarge does it actually show up. And oh, by the way, you're only in the warbarge for like 10 seconds. So it's kind of like you have a vanity, you have like a vanity thing, but you have no mirror with which to see your vanity thing, nor place to show off your vanity shit to
You
other
can
people.
show it off. You can show it off in battle when
you teabag someone.
When you yes, you can show it the nice ass of your
You
nice ass and balls of your suit when
have
you
you
teabag.
ever actually? Let me put it this way:
Seen
how
a
do
skin?
you
Yes.
know in your skin? Yeah, how do you know in battle that your skin actually shows up?
Because
you can see it on the
because
gloves.
Okay.
well, yeah, that you can see in the gloves, and I've had court mates come up to me and be like, "Ooh, you got new skin, bait? Yeah, man, I got new skin.
Yeah,
Can't you tell?
right.
Does
For
it
like
look like
for
the
like
base fucking skin?"
if you
No.
no, by the way, if you're fucking around that much, then you should have already been moving out from below the MCC to do whatever you
This
need to do.
this is at we're walk. This is as we're running out toward the point. We multitask. We actually do play this game. Unlike 90% of the blueberries who sit on mountains and snipe. And I
That's
can't
fair.
see enemy skins as I am one of those blueberries that does snipe. Much fun.
I guess my point is I kind of don't really care because of the context of which we're seeing them. I mean, it is. I mean, they can be pretty cool, but I still think they're pretty fucking overpriced for the
Of
ones you
course they
buy.
are. Everybody agrees.
I think we got sidetracked. We were talking about the Amarr event.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so-
anyway, the event is out there, and basically they're gonna have these 4 global missions. So when you queue your daily missions up, it'll be the same 4 missions that will be part of your mission set. And it looks fairly decent for a chunk of ISK and some skill points, but
it's pretty. Sorry. It's not really that much. It's not that much ISK. It's not that much SP, but it's pretty easy to get a hold of it. And the other thing is if you're getting like a chunk of orm each day, you're getting like 500 orm if you do half your missions, which is pretty easy to do. And if you get shitty missions, you could re-roll them for 100 and still get 400 orm, I guess.
Well, you say it's not that much Iskin or Iskin skill points, but do those matches reset like every day?
Yep.
Or is
No,
it like the
it's
it's
persistent.
Fuck.
Hold on. I'm going to read you
Oh.
the piece on here. And do me a favor, let me finish before you jump in again.
Okay.
So during this time period, players will encounter 3 persistent, unique, unrerollable daily missions. So every day you're going to get these 3 missions that I will read off here shortly every single day. No, you may not re-roll them. You earn 2,500 war points, which you can do in a match pretty easy. Your reward is 15,000 skill points. If you get 150 kills, your reward is 25,000 skill points and 50,000 ISK. For finishing 5 battles, you get 35,000 skill points and 150,000 ISK. So over time, that's not that much. However, if you complete 5 daily missions, you will receive 500 Aurum a day. Now, this is all on top of whatever you would normally get in the other mission completion bonuses for your your mission. So when you add them up over the course of a 10-day event, it's decent. It is probably, and if you think about it, really the only thing you get out of the event is the single the single Amarr medium skin Death Shroud module. So that's it is a low ball event that they're basically rolling out to say you've had an event.
May I speak now?
No, go ahead, Bait.
I was going to say that Orm is actually really nice. That's 5,000 Orm.
It's 500.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
God damn it, CCP.
Yeah, it's 500 a day.
Oh, yeah, a day. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 500 times 10 is 5,000.
It's 5,000. Thank you, Pokey.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You messed me up, though. No, 5,000 Orm, after it's all said and done, plus a skin, is great. And if you run, obviously, if you run Amarr Assault or Logi, which fuck the Amarr Logi, in my opinion. But if you run either of those suits, dude, you're making out on top of the ISK.
I like my Amarr Logi.
No. Ew. Yeah.
What?
I will say though that's a fun little thing to put AV on. It's an Amarr Logi.
Yeah, thank you.
Only thing though, it's not good for Logi suit in my
I
opinion.
mean, the big thing that I kind of my wish.
It was the 3rd Logi suit I leveled. So
Okay.
yeah.
My wish item for this event though is I'm glad that Shanghai is doing an event that ties into the overall thing. But I'm really disappointed I didn't see more from the Eve side lore creators, because I swear they probably have as many people working on lore and scope videos and stuff for Eve as we have developing Dust at this point. I don't actually know the number of people on either end of that equation.
Wonder for a new
So
CPM though.
But I mean, that's just like one of those things that, like, could they not have even given like a token inclusion of this on the lore end of things, where it doesn't have to be an actual game type. They didn't do it, and you know, but I'm glad that Shanghai is at least mentioning it.
On that front, that makes me wonder if you have main CCP in Iceland, then you have Dust CCP Shanghai over in China, and CCP Shanghai is like that annoying little brother, or that friend that you feel sorry for, that you just pat on the head and send him on his way with whatever he wants. That's what I get from this whole relationship. But maybe
people in Dust getting whatever we want. You're imagining. No, yeah.
People wanted an event, and we got an event. I mean, it may not have the lore that people wanted.
The short answer, they could have. I think they could have. They had a really neat solution in front of them that could have tied in very easily with what Eve's doing. So without going into a whole lot of Eve lore, in 30 seconds or less, basically, in order to pick whoever the new ruler of the Amarr Empire is, there's going to be a tournament in Eve, and the different Amarr sub-factions pick champions. And then they run basically a little mini version of the Alliance tournament that they run in Eve, and then that will determine which sub-faction shits the next Emperor Empress.
These are players?
Yeah, these are it is a live player event.
Fucking Max Singularity,
and then
man.
What they easily could have done, but Max would need to get his fucking combat on then.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So what they could have easily done is had a corresponding set of trials on the ground, and then you offer 4 or 5 different Amarr flavored skins, and you can open up special matches, and then it's literally you run it like a tournament, like CCP tried to do and failed miserably a couple 3 times. But it's like let's say it's 3 out of 5 or whatever to pick the new Amarr Emperor or Empress, and then one of the fights or 2 of the fights or whatever, something small but somewhat consequential, could have been basically a PC battle, effectively, or a PC style fight. They did like a squad cup, and that would have been perfect for it. But they could have easily done that, I think, with a little bit of fucking sweat on their brow, and they could have figured that out and tied it in nicely. But that would have freaked the Eve people out. They probably wouldn't have had any of it. So, all right, any other consternation or commentary on the ubiquitous Amarr Death Shroud event?
Well, I mean, I'm repeating what we said, but I mean, it is interesting that we were talking a few podcasts ago about how we wanted more stuff tying in with Eve lore, and we did kind of get that.
No, that's true. Kind of. I mean, I give them the credit for at least linking it to the events. I mean, I 100% give them that. And I actually don't think this is a CCP Shanghai problem. I think Bait was the one that mentioned this is actually more of a CCP Reykjavik thing. Because they're the ones who actually run the lore for the most part.
Senpai noticed us.
Yep.
They didn't notice us though.
Kind of.
Not really.
They looked our direction. They didn't make eye contact though.
No, they didn't. Okay. So we're going to transition gears, unless anybody has anything else to clean up. Reference CCP products.
I was just gonna mention really quickly that this week in Dust there just seems to have been a huge flare up in people scamming each other, and I won't go into all the nitty-gritty details, but it just is. There's been stuff in my corp. There's been stuff out of corp. It's just I don't know what it is about this week, but there just was a massive truck ton of scamming going on.
It would be really hard for me to. I mean, I'm absolutely taking your word on this one. It's really hard for me to judge kind of a relative measure of it, because I just don't have a sensing of it. Are you talking about like trade scamming, or you mean like
trade
espionage and shit? Okay.
No, not corpse. That's strictly, people saying, "Oh, I'm going to give you this Apex suit. Can I get my 30 million?" And they don't get the 30 million. That kind of those kind of scams have been going on a lot this week.
Okay.
I got a corp mail sent out saying Vincent Sims and Min for Life at YouTube are scamming in Squad Finder. So it's kind of hilarious to me that there's scammers that are such scrubs that they're not even in a trade channel. They're literally just using Squad Finder.
Well, I don't know, man. It takes all kinds. I mean, I don't really feel bad for the people that got scammed, and I don't have too much hate for the people that did the scamming. I just assume that that kind of activity goes on, and it's always buyer beware.
Yeah. Anyway, we can get into more scamming stuff later. I just thought I would mention it as kind of a keeping up with the neighbors type thing.
No, I think that's a good thing, and I'll be honest with you. If you could ever do this kind of stuff, like from a corp sense, like if there was like a corp armory and all this stuff, and you were buying and selling selling things on a commodities level, not an individual level, I think there would probably be some actually pretty neat stories coming out of that. But they would need to really pony up and gain some testicular fortitude to make that kind of change.
Yeah, but I think that's everything related to Dust. I don't have any more. I'm gonna
not everything.
Okay, all right, everybody. We're gonna give Bayet a second so he can tell people what he did this
It
week.
sounds exciting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I am so fucking excited. Okay. Everybody knows that we have these lovely little purple things called encrypted strongboxes that sit in our assets and mock us with their sheer number, as compared to that glorious thing that is the hacked decryptor key. You'll have more boxes than you'll have keys, with almost no way to get rid of those boxes, and still get the goodies. Now, GM Archduke posted in a forum saying that if you send in a help ticket, if you send in this ticket and asked to have all of your strong boxes removed, he would do it. Now, obviously, you don't get the goodies that are inside, but you still have the satisfaction of knowing that you have 0 boxes in your assets, and it takes away that annoying little
Until
red
you
bubble.
finish a match.
Until you finish a match, and then you get 10 from salvage and 17 from your missions, putting you back up to 27, as which was my case not 20 minutes after I got all my 1,600 boxes removed. And as of today, I am up to 88 boxes with 2 decryptor keys, and we'll probably send in a help ticket next month asking him to remove them all. So, if you have an ungodly amount of strong boxes that you hate, send in a help ticket, and GM Archduke, praises to his name, will send you, or will get rid of them. He won't send you anything. He will get rid of them, though. That is all.
I still don't. I understand the comedy of them. I still don't understand why they bother people so much.
I don't know either, but they do. People
It's
complain that they
it's like
can't
it's
get
an
in.
OCD thing. You get the little orange.
I guess, man. That shit
You
is
get the
annoying.
little orange circle.
I know, the
telling
orange-
you
the
need to
orange
look at
circle is
this.
fucking
The orange
You need to
circle
look
thing.
at this. There's an
And the-
orange circle here.
And,
I
and
complained
the,
about that internally
the-
the moment I first saw it.
And
That
the one
ticked
for
me
the
off.
boosters that tells me I don't have a booster. Yeah, I know I don't have a booster. You don't need a circle to tell me.
I have a booster, so I'm fine.
Yeah? Well, good for you. Some of us don't have boosters.
But I bet you still
Heracles.
have boxes, so you still have the orange
Just
bubble.
buy one 30-day passive booster. It won't bug you anymore.
Well, guess what, Zell?
Just buy a booster and it won't
No.
bother you anymore. I think that's why they put it there.
I buy mine with ISKs, so I'm not feeding the beast.
See, Heracles, some of us aren't rich enough to be able to do that. Please direct all your donations of boosters to Aiwha Bait, AIWHA space bait. Thank you. Some of us don't have the money to do that, Heracles Porsche. Lucky
well,
for you.
Get grinding. I don't know.
Oh goodness!
I would if I could. The life of Elaji.
All right, so we're going to move to our second major segment of the show tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming games. And so, literally, the point of this is there are, as most people know, there are certain times of the year that you start getting like a rush on games that are coming in, and we're starting to get into that swing here in the fall as it leads up to the holiday season. So what we thought would be kind of a cool idea is we could ask everybody in the panel, like just a handful of the big games that they're looking forward to and why. So maybe some things you can put on your radar, or perhaps you want to get some of your friends together and you want to try some different gameplay out and all that kind of stuff. And we really encourage people to really look at other games as much as you can, because what it does, it makes you appreciate the games that you do play a little bit more. Usually it could be everything from third-person shooters, first-person shooters, to platformers, RPGs, strategy games, whatever. And the more that you see, you'll generally get a little bit better perspective on how some things can be done in different games. And you may find some interesting cross-pollination opportunities. So not only that, we're always on the lookout for something fun to play. And usually, if you can do it with friends, that's even better. So we'll just kind of go down the list and kind of kick a couple ideas around. And if you got some comments on it here in the panel when somebody brings up a cool game, feel free. So, Bait, I'd like to kind of lead off with you. What are a couple, three of the games you're looking forward to that are going to be out, either have come out right now or they're coming out between now and basically the holiday season?
Well, as a history nerd, I think I have to say Assassin's Creed Syndicate, set in Victoria, London, this time around. I've always loved the Assassin's Creed game, and am putting my faith in Ubisoft one last time, with Syndicate, and hopefully nothing will fuck up. Also looking forward to Fallout, as is the rest of the world, and probably looking forward to getting both of the Metal Gear Solid 5 games. I've gotten into a stint on Metal Gear Solid. I picked up 4 yesterday. Picked up Guns of the Patriots, I think it is, and started through that and played the first act. Such a fucking good game. Highly recommend it. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool, man. I think a lot of people are tracking Fallout and Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain is out, and I have talked to, I think, 3 people that have actually laid hands on it, and they all are very, very high on that game. Now, I am quite aware of the Metal Gear series, and I've enjoyed a couple of the games. Some of them get kind of crazy, and some of them you might as well pull up and have a bucket of soda and popcorn because of the 2-hour cutscenes. But it's my understanding is that game is very, very, very well received right now.
Yeah, former CEO has it on the PlayStation 3, and he said it's fucking beautiful. Even though it is on what is now the last gen of consoles, or the previous gen, still said it looks good. Peace Walker looks like the best freaking thing ever. Looks better than Dust, but that's not setting the bar real high.
Okay. And I got a random dumb question. So the Assassin's Creed that's coming out in the Victorian area, is that what the Michael Fassbender movie's about?
I'll get back to you on that. Let me look while everybody is going through their games.
All right, cool beans. Let's see. Heracles, how about you, man? Any couple, 3 games that have caught your eye?
Yes, 3. I'll talk about them in the order that they're coming out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Life is Strange. It's sort of like, have you played that one?
No, I'm familiar with the game.
Okay, well, it's kind of like a indie type game that you can just buy really cheaply off, the PS3 or Xbox market, and it's about like 80% released. Where they've got 5 episodes, so they still need to release episode 5. So I've played 1 through 4, and it's really good, very intense experience, and you're playing as like this high school girl who can reverse time. It sounds kind of lame when I describe it like that. Just take my word for it that it's an awesome game. You can see a little bit of footage of me playing it up on my YouTube. But yeah, you basically play the game and you go in the start menu, and it's just like this peaceful, soothing music. So you just kind of assume that it must be like this super mellow whatever, but it turns into like a crazy, ridiculously intense, dangerous experience, very emotionally driven. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about it, so definitely check that one out. I think you can get the first episode for free now. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the 5th episode, because episode 4 left me with a really cruel cliffhanger, so I really want to finish that up. Halo 5 Guardians, a little more for the campaign than the multiplayer, and Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that one looks pretty legit. If you've ever played the old Battlefront games,
Yeah.
They have definitely buffed that thing up for the current gen technology, just based on like some of the YouTubes that I've been seeing of like the gameplay footage and stuff like that. It's pretty wicked good. Well, let me put it this way: it looks like it will be pretty fun if you like the big, massive shooters with a lot of different mechanics. And Battlefront is always really good at having a lot of different things to do in the game, usually fairly vanilla. Like they'll have ground vehicles, air vehicles, space vehicles, and all this other jazz. It'll be fairly simple, but it gives you a lot of different options. So the couple videos I saw actually today of Star Wars Battlefront, it looks pretty solid, and they're apparently paying a lot of attention to the hero character balance, like making sure that those things are pretty slick. So that does look like one that'll be pretty cool. Hey, let's see, Bait, you said you had an update real quick?
Yeah, I did. It looks like the Assassin's Creed movie is going to follow a brand new assassin. The filming started in Malta the other day. And here's how a local newspaper describes it. The story is about a revolutionary technology. This is coming from screenrant.com, by the way. Revolutionary technology that unlocks genetic memories. Callum Lynch, who is Michael Fassbender, experiences the adventures of his ancestor Aguilar in the 15th century Spain. Callum discovers he's descended from a mysterious secret society, blah, 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 and then plot of every Assassin's Creed game. So it looks like Fassbender will be playing the actual assassin within the Animus. But again, from the way that this is reading, he may play both the main character and the assassin.
Yeah, I would assume he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds pretty legit.
Yeah, it does. Some people from Boardwalk Empire are going to be on supporting somebody from Inglourious Bastards. I don't know the name. The costume designer from Kick-Ass 1, 2, and Ant-Man will be is tied to the project, and production designer Andy Nicholson from the Divergent series is also tied to it.
Okay, all right, that sounds pretty good, man. Zell, what about you?
So, the big thing that I'm actually looking forward to that's coming out around the holidays is I'm actually very bitter about it as well. And that's that I'm looking forward to the new Tomb Raider, but I'm really ticked off because Microsoft bought like exclusivity for it. And the sort of exclusivity that I love is when they actually pay another company to screw their own customers in favor of their other own customers, because I'm a Windows gamer and I'm getting screwed over because they're paying for Xbox exclusivity. That sort of thing just it grinds my gears, and I just ugh. The other thing that I'm looking forward to is that somewhere within the next, anywhere from next week to 6 years from now, we're supposed to be getting the first-person shooter module of Star Citizen, Star Marine, and I'm really excited about that. I don't know how it's going to go, which is, as one can expect with anything coming from Chris Roberts. And then the third thing that I'm looking forward to is actually coming out next February, and that's the new Mirror's Edge.
Oh, that'd be pretty legit. No, that's actually one of those games I would be fascinated to see in VR.
I would not. I actually don't think that would be like safe to play in VR. Because, I mean, as it is, they already put a big freaking dot in the middle of the screen, and that's required to keep you from getting like motion sick trying to play the thing. I'd be really terrified to try playing that game in VR.
It would probably look pretty bitchin', I think.
Yeah, until you throw up all over your keyboard.
Yeah, if you have no constitution, yes, and you fail your saving throw, I'm sure. Okay, Pokey, what do you think, man?
I'll pick something that other people haven't done yet. So, Taken King, Destiny expansion coming out in 2 days. Bungie's actually already released some of the changes in their 2.0 update to the game. A lot of it looks really promising. I'll admit they've shown me that they have a clue of what they're doing, and they're actually moving in a good direction. So I'm curious to see how it'll play out, and I'm looking forward to the expansion. Let me see. Rainbow Six coming out December 1st. Rainbow Six Siege. That one is kind of that tactical shooter where you're basically playing either like a hostage situation where you're a SWAT team breaking into a building, you're trying to rescue the hostages.
That
It
looks
like
really
it's-
cool.
Yeah,
That
it looks
thing
awesome.
is very high on my list.
I'm buying that.
Yeah, I mean it's got self-destructible environments. I mean, I think one of the gameplay was the guy shooting a hole in a wall and then using the hole to hit the guy inside the room. It was very cool. I'm looking forward to that. And then one that's probably a little less mainstream, but Persona 5 is supposedly coming out in 2015. We don't have an exact release date yet, but I'm a big fan of Persona 3 and 4 and some of the side games on that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, no, that was actually Rainbow Six Siege was actually on my list as well. I've been looking forward to that game for quite a while and have been following the development of it. There, if you haven't seen it, there are some really, really good live gameplay demo videos that they've put out. It is, like many of the Rainbow Six games, very, very tactically oriented. This one has a ton of different options in it, and it looks very, very up in your face kind of fighting. So should be pretty interesting. Rainbow Six franchise has been a long staple of cooperative shooters. And they definitely at least appear on the surface right now to have really kind of tapped back into that, a really team-oriented, very realistic sort of scenario. And you get kind of some interesting advantage. My understanding, you get some interesting advantages on being either the offender or the defender. So you have some different things that you can do inside of that. So should be pretty interesting. Let's see. So for me,
No,
go ahead.
Pokey, can I ask you, if I still have Destiny but I haven't bought any DLC for it, if I go back and play it today, will it be any different than a year ago?
Yeah, like I said, it's been a 2.0 update, and that's basically to the game as a whole. It's not like part of a patch, like a DLC patch. So there's a new quest system, upgraded inventory, a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, it's from my understanding, you don't have to have purchased any of the DLC to get those features.
So, sorry, what? I could get new items and what do the quests do?
Well, as far as new items, I believe that the ones that are above level 30, which would be the 30 to 32 is Dark Below, and 32 to 34 would be House of Wolves. I think those are locked. If you don't have those expansions, you can't get those higher levels. But the quests are basically there's a class quest, for each subclass you can go through and you get some items and stuff. And there actually are some new items.
So to say, kill however many of this whatever a day, it seems like the same kind of stuff I was doing before.
They aren't really daily quests. It's more of a class progression and whatnot. And because changed they've changed a few things in terms of your gear and whatnot. Like your class armor previously was for aesthetics only. That now actually has stats on it. It raises your defense. Your level is no longer based off of your gear. It's based off experience earned. Your light level is just an average of the attack and defense of all your gear, just averaged together. And while enemies and missions will have a recommended light level, your level is really what dictates if you can do things and whatnot.
I pretty much was only doing multiplayer towards the end of my time there, so I don't know.
Well, I do know that, and I believe this is available to everyone regardless of DLC or not, but they've released some of the multiplayer maps from the Taken King that you're allowed to play for free, at least for this week, so you can try out some of the new game modes, some of the new maps and whatnot. I think that's free for everyone until the release day on Tuesday.
Oh, that's good to know. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see. We talked a little bit about Rainbow Siege, Battlefront, and Star Wars Battlefront, and a couple of others. Those were kind of high on my list. But of the ones that nobody has mentioned, XCOM 2 comes out, I think November.
What?
November. Yep. I've been kind of
soon.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be here for the holidays. So they say they still have it listed as a November release, but I think it's probably going to be right before Christmas.
Dude, is that going to be anything like XCOM Enemy Unknown?
Well, from what little I can tell, it looks obviously similar in that vein, a tactical turn-based squad game. But in terms of the internals of it, it's a little hard to tell right now.
I salivated over that freaking game. Oh my goodness.
XCOM
I'm censoring myself
very,
right now, by the way.
Games.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm pretty into it. So
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Next one up would be The Division. That's also a kind of a Ubi product. It's also in the Tom Clancy universe, not unlike Rainbow Six, but The Division is pretty. It looks like it has some fairly innovative approaches. It's again small squad team based type gameplay, or you can solo it if you wish. But there is PvP involved, and it's basically in the guts of New York City. Tragedy, disasters occurred, and it's very much a kind of survival exploration game with a variety of tactical objectives that feed into a storyline. It looks pretty good on the surface anyway. It looks like some innovative use of. It kind of reminds me of like if you tried to play a game like XCOM, but it wasn't turn-based, it was like real time. That's kind of the feel that you get from the gameplay. At least that's my personal impression. But it looks pretty interesting, and it looks like it'd be a good game to play with 3 or 4 buddies. Probably similar in vein to how Destiny, you can play with a smaller group of people and probably have a good time. The only other thing that's out there that I've been kind of really keeping my eye on is Eternal Crusade. That's a Warhammer 40K property. It's a massive. It's like an MMO shooter game type thing. They have a very, very open development cycle over there at the studio that they work on. They do weekly Twitch streams, show you actual gameplay. They just started the alpha for it, and I think they're going to get into the beta sometime around Christmas, and then early spring is full release. But it's Crossa 2 from the CPM and I. We have been watching it pretty close. We're big Warhammer fans. And it looks like it's coming together very, very well. Because, like I said, they're very, very open with what they're doing and how what they show the community. It's an interesting lesson that a lot of other developer studios probably could take. So that's probably worth a look. You can go back and check out some of their recent Twitch streams. Like I said, they kick them out about once a week, once every other week and a half, and you can get some good feedback from them. So those are kind of the things that I'm looking forward to, in addition to a lot of the stuff that you guys have already mentioned. So let's see. We're going to do some quick shout outs unless anybody's got anything pressing, and we're going to go ahead and call this one a night. So we'll start at the top of the list here in Mumble and kind of work our way down. So Bait, any shout outs?
Yeah, a few actually. I would like to give a shout out to my corporation, Incorruptibles. Love running with you guys when I can. Also, shout out to Ray, Ray DHO from I believe that's how you say his name, from that same corporation. Got in a squad with him. Saturday, I guess, Friday or Saturday, and we found a new reason to run the basic suit and the basic set of suits and the Amarr Logi, and that is a shits and giggles AV fit. Put some swarm launchers on there, not flux grenades, AV grenades, and proximity explosives, and you will have a good time. Also would like to shout out 12 Gauge from the Dust community. Played with her right before I came on the show. Had some good laughs, good games. And last of all, but not least, I'd like to shout out to the Galente Federation for finally pushing back the Kaldari scum who have been stomping us for the past couple of months in factional warfare. Good job, guys. Let's keep doing that.
Alrighty. Let's see. Heracles, any shoutouts?
Oh, those were some good. I'm going to shout out Aiwha Bait for how awesome his shoutouts were. And also, I'm going to shout out Hal P. from Dust University for giving me 2 free experimental plasma launchers. And that's it.
All right. Hey, what's the name of your channel on YouTube?
It's Heracles Porsche. It's the same this. Yeah.
All right. Just checking, brother. Pokey, shoutouts.
I'm going to give a shout out to my coworkers at work. We just finished a massive rush, working about 12-hour days, 7 days a week for the last month or so, and we all got it done. It was a good group effort. We all worked our asses off. So shout out to you guys for helping the department get everything done, and we got a nice bonus for it. So thanks.
Alrighty. Zell, shoutouts?
I have I have like I don't really have anything. I don't know. I give a shout out to my wonderful co-hosts here on the show that tolerate me 72 weeks later. They're still putting up with me, so I really appreciate it.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Let's see. Shout outs. I've got one. I'd like to give a shout out to Josh Trank, the director of the Fantastic Four movie, primarily because that was the best episode of Drunk Mystery Science Theater 3000, the live crowd-induced version that I've had in years. So a bunch of us went and saw that movie, and it was a relatively small theater around here, and about a third of the way through almost a half of the way through the movie, most of us had already been pre-drinking, and I really don't drink very much, like hardly at all, but it was pretty interesting. So it became one huge Mystery Science Theater 3000 troll fest on the movie very loudly, and it was hilarious. Pretty much there's only like 20 people in the theater. I think 15 of them were with us. So it was very, very humorous. So Josh Trank, keep turning those out. Fantastic Four, keep sucking. All right, folks. So we're going to go ahead and kind of land the plane, as we say, and we really appreciate you guys stopping in and hanging out with us tonight a little bit. We appreciate when you guys give us some notes on Twitter or email. Always a big fan of that. If you have hate mail, at OCD Trekkie, that would be for Zell. And if you have shit you like, you can hit me at Jason Larson on Twitter. That's usually how we like to do it. Things that suck go to Zell. Things that are good come to me. I'm a big fan of that.
Also tweet at PokeDraven all your pictures of goats.
Absolutely. Goats. He loves goats.
He loves
Big fan
Fucking
of goats.
goats. Oh my god. They're weird. There's something
We're
wrong with
gonna
them.
do a goat simulator
You
thing
love
with
them.
Pokey. It's gonna be great.
Twitch.tv/Biomassed, please.
That might exist next week. We'll
No.
see.
We might have to do that. That could be actually pretty fun.
No good will come of this. All right. So, folks, from everybody here at the Biomass crew, we really appreciate you guys supporting us and kind of making it worthwhile doing this show for well over a year now. It's actually pretty cool. So, thank you very much, and good night, and good luck.